I am traveling and won't be able to give a lesson. Alright? And yet at the same time, I need to complete part 1 of this module. How shall we do the makeup?
You can do faster.
I can do faster. No, I don't think I should go faster. I can stay later. But I cannot do faster because if I go too fast, then I might lose some people along the way. Is it too difficult to find a slot that we can do it? Either on one of the other nights or on Saturday, for example.
What days are you away?
Whole week. Yeah, I'm away for the whole week. I am leaving on a Sunday and I'm only back on a Saturday. The Sunday before that, in fact. So that week is out. So if there's a makeup, it will have to be before that week, before week 6. That's why I'm letting you know early.
Can you do a recording?
Hmm?
Can you do a recording?
I could do a recording. That's one alternative. Weekend I'm okay. You know, weekend, because the following week is actually recess week. There are no classes during that week. So one option is we can actually take any of the days on recess week. I just have to book the room and stuff. Is that okay? Huh? So we can still meet here on Thursday during recess week. Is that okay? Because there are no classes.
I think it's same for other subjects as well, because Chinese New Year fall on that day and then use recess week.
But Chinese New Year is on Tuesday, Wednesday. So if they're going to do something, it will be on Tuesday or Wednesday. They won't move it to another day, right?
Yeah, take the recess week, the Tuesday from the recess week.
Yeah. But ours is on a Thursday, so it should be okay.
Recess week is okay.
Yeah, recess week is okay, everybody? Thank you for your kindness. Okay, so please put that in your calendar. Alright, recess week. Because it's not just about the lesson, because I need to complete the tutorial as well, the last one. Okay, so please put in your calendar. That means it will be on the 2nd of March. Right? 2nd of March. No, it's not 2nd, sorry. 28th of Feb, yes, that's right, 28th of Feb. Okay, 28th of Feb. So please put that in your calendar. Okay, so that will be our makeup. You're lucky I don't travel this month. This time, this semester. Alright, thanks. Okay, so we're going to talk about medium access control protocols now. On the left, you have the Open Systems Interconnect Reference Model for the layering of the stack. The medium could be the type of medium that you're sending information across. It could be a copper cable, it can be an optical fiber, it could be a wireless medium, for example. That's what we mean by medium. Alright? And then you see the 7 layers from the physical layer all the way to the application layer. Physical layer is layer 1. Alright? Okay? If you've done any basic and fundamental course on networks, you would have already seen this 7-layer OSI model. Okay, so I won't go into details. Now, for most wireless networks, they usually only define up to the transport layer, the one in red on the right. Okay, the physical, of course, is there, what type of modems you use, and so on. Okay, and then you have the medium access control, logical link control, the internet protocol layer, and transmission control protocol. So we will cover some of this from the perspective of wireless networks. Okay, from the perspective, because much of these layers have been designed not for wireless, they're designed for wired networks, whether it is copper based or fiber based. All right. So extra precautions needs to be put in, extra enhancements need to be put in, because in the wireless channel, it is much more unpredictable, much more noisy, subject to a lot of adversities. Okay, so we will talk about some of this. All right. So what the medium access control layer does is really to arbitrate requests for services when multiple devices want to communicate. Okay, so there are two main categories: conflict-free and contention-based. Conflict-free, that means obviously there's no collisions. Okay, everything is organized very nicely, and we'll go through some of these afterwards. All right, static allocation like time division multiple access, frequency division multiple access, code division multiple access, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, SDMA is sector division multiple access. Okay, you can also have dynamic allocation where you go by polling. So you have a central controller to say, okay, it's your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. That's polling. Okay. In the contention base, you have the static resolution and the dynamic resolution. We will go through all of them. There will be a little bit of maths, not too much. Okay. So Aloha is a big grandfather of wireless protocols. Okay, we'll go through that. And then CSMA is carrier sense multiple access. And then with dynamic resolution is CSMA CA. CSMA CA is what you have for Wi-Fi. Okay? But it has to have something beyond CSMA CA to make Wi-Fi a little bit more robust. Okay, let's go through all of this now. So the first one is FDMA, frequency division multiple access. So you've got a certain spectrum, you carve it up into subbands, you use this, you use this, you use this, that's FDMA. Okay, it's the oldest of all systems, it's the simplest of all systems, frequency division multiple access. Each station is using a certain subband of frequency. So if you look at the diagram, it's a 3D diagram of frequency along here, power along here. So these are all the bands, okay, and the time that it is used, okay? Right? So this is a method that has been used in the first generation of cellular systems. Right? First generation meaning the mid-80s till about the mid-90s, generation 1. Okay, generation 1. Major disadvantage is fixed allocation. All right, so that means good for voice, but no good for data, because data is very intermittent. Okay. The next one is time division multiple access. So instead of breaking it up in frequency, you break it up in time slots. So in the example there, you have a bunch of slots. Okay, let's say, let's take a simple example. I take 10 seconds, I break it up in 100 slots, and then another 100 slots. Okay. So I allocate, you talk slot number 3. Every time slot number 3, you can transmit. So that's TDMA. Okay, so it's based on that. All right. A variation of that is called narrowband TDMA, because if I have a lot of spectrum and I break it up into a lot of slots, that means I'm operating at a very high frequency. Suppose, okay, so in our case in Singapore, the telecom regulator is the IMDA, Infocom and Media Development Authority. So there's one division there that regulates the use of the radio spectrum, you know that, right? Okay, this spectrum is used for mobile radio services, this spectrum is used for satellite, this spectrum is used for civil defense requirements, this sector is reserved for the military, etc. Right? Okay? So, in the cellular mobile radio system, typically it is being broken up into chunks of say 20 megahertz or 40 megahertz. And then Singtel will bid for it, StarHub will bid for it, M1 will bid for it, and so on. Alright? Okay? And then when they get that whole thing, that whole chunk of spectrum, that's when they offer services. But imagine if you have a 20 megahertz spectrum and you use TDMA, there will be thousands of slots, and then your RF cost will come up because you're using wideband. So instead of using all of that, you break it up into smaller chunks. Alright? So instead of using 20 megahertz, I break it into chunks, say, of 200 kilohertz. And inside, I put less slots. Instead of thousands of slots, I put, say, 8 slots or 10 slots. The RF front end there will be much cheaper because it's operating at a lower rate. Okay, so that's what narrowband is. You break it up into smaller subbands, and inside that subband, you have time slots. Okay, right? Okay, that's what it is. And that is used by the second generation system, GSM. Second generation system. So GSM has been retired already in Singapore. Okay, last year. I think most countries are at various stages of decommissioning GSM. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't throw away a GSM phone. One day, 50 years later, it becomes a collector's item. And then you can get auction it off for millions of dollars. And no joke, you know the old Motorola? It's very expensive because it's a collector's item now. You know, the Motorola, the second generation people, rich people put it purposely in front of their restaurant table so they know that they're rich. Back 30 years ago, that's what they did, right? Okay? So it's a collector's item. Right, so in each slot, so organized into frames, as you can see there, and then each frame, they have slots, okay, and each slot, they will have a master control for the frame, then this is each slot. This is the overheads and the data, and then you have a guard band in between. The reason for the guard band is because of the spreading of the signal. Alright, so that another user's transmission will not overlap to its adjacent users. Okay, that's the purpose of the guard band. Okay, right. So these are all very fairly old systems, huh? Okay, old systems. TDMA is still quite popular in certain types of technologies right now because it's simple. And that's the reason why GSM was able to become the sort of a global second generation system as compared to what the US was trying to do. Alright, as you know, US was trying to promote a second generation system that was based on CDMA, which I'll talk about afterwards, which was much more complex. Alright, it was technologies pushed by Qualcomm and the South Koreans. But because it was so much more complex, the time to market was at least 2 years behind GSM, the Europeans' GSM. So by that time, the Europeans already captured the global market. Yeah. So that's why GSM was more pervasive globally than the CDMA system. Okay. So this is CDMA. In Singapore, for a brief period, we have both TDMA systems and CDMA systems for a brief period. But they couldn't coexist because the CDMA systems was creating a lot of interference to the TDMA system. So in the end, it told the operator who had won the auction for the CDMA to retire that service and replace it with TDMA. Okay, that was StarHub. That was back in the late 90s. Late 90s, about 20 years ago. CDMA stands for code division multiple access. Okay, code division. That means every data bit is represented by a code. Okay, they call it a chip sequence. Chip sequence here. Code, chip sequence. Alright? So let's say if you use a 16-bit code, that means every data bit is represented by a 16-bit code. 0 is represented by a 16-bit code. 1 is represented by a 16-bit code, etc. And each of these codes will be unique to each user. Alright? So your codes will be different from your codes, so that it can be separated. Okay? Now, let me give you an analogy of how this works. I think Chinese restaurants are probably noisier than most other restaurants. Yeah? Everybody talking to each other on a table of 10. The conversations, 4 or 5 conversations can be going on at the same time. Yeah? And yet our brain, table of 10, I talk to you, I still can hear you in spite of all these people shouting around. It's incredible, right, Abe? CDMA is based on that principle. Okay, because when you lock into a person's conversation, you're not only listening to the sound, you're locking into the characteristics of that sound, and that's why you can make out what that person is talking about. His accent, his voice, etc. And that's why you can pick it up. There's certain uniqueness about everybody's voice, right? Okay, so CDMA use that principle. That everybody is talking, and yet I can hear this particular one because that's the one I want to hear. Because its code is unique. Okay? Right. So that code is the code sequence. So what this is showing you is that everybody is talking at the same time over that frequency band and over that time. So as a result, because everybody is talking, you have self-interference. This is called self-interference. I interfere with you, you interfere with me. Alright? So of course there is a limit to how much interference you can tolerate before the system breaks down. Okay? It's not infinite. It's not infinite. Okay, let's see how it works. Suppose I have 2 codes. Code S1, sequence S1, and code S2. So code S1, I will represent logical 0 as +1, logical 0 as -1, and logical 1 as +1, as you can see here. So code sequence 1 is 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay, got it? Code 2 is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay, these are 2 codes. I'm just taking randomly 2 codes. Okay, right? So in this case, it consists of how many MIDI bits? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 MIDI bits. Okay, so the code is 11 MIDI bit code, right? Okay. So suppose the user, we are using code S1, say. Okay, I'm the receiver. Alright? You are using code S2. Both of you are transmitting to me. But I want to listen to you, I don't want to listen to you. Nothing case around. So I have a code S1, I have a code, but right now I want to listen to you. So what I do is I do a correlation between what I receive from you and my code S1. Okay, that's what I do. So you have a correlator. This is a correlator. And what the correlator does is that it does a product of those received code and my template code. Okay? The product and sum up the values. That's what I do. Okay? And if the value, the sum, is greater than a certain threshold, I know that you send something to me. And the sign of that sum will tell me whether it's a logical 1 or a logical 0. If the sign is positive, I know he sent me a logical 1. If the sign is negative, I know he sent me a logical 0. Okay, so to prove it, we will see what happens next. I'll come back to this again because there are some other conditions that are necessary. Okay, so S1 is sent. Now suppose the send signal, which is this top one, and my template is this one. If I multiply the 2, everything will be positive 1, right? Because +1 times +1 is 1. -1 times -1 is also +1. So everything will be plus 1, and I add it together, it will be 11, because I have an 11 chip sequence here. Okay? However, if she is sending me with S2, all right, and I'm correlating it with S1, -1 times +1 is -1 over here. +1 times -1 is -1 here. -1 times -1 is +1. Okay, you get the idea, huh? I'm multiplying S1 times S2 and I add it all up. I have 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative. I add it all up, become -1. Okay, that means I'm not listening to S2 now. Because why? The magnitude is less than the threshold. The threshold is halfway. So the threshold here will be 5. 1 is less than 5. Doesn't matter about the sign, the magnitude is less than 5. Okay, so I'm not listening because I'm listening to him. Okay? Right. Now this is to show you what happens when you do cross correlation. If the template and the receive signal is the same, you get the maximum value. Because the sum is a number of chips. Okay? Right. Now, if both of you are transmitting, S1 and S2 is transmitting, then I add up, right? What I hear is the combination of both, right? Yeah? If I add it up, you will get the top one on the right, R. R equals the S1 plus S2. So you got -1 plus 1 becomes 0, which is this guy here. Plus 1 plus -1 again 0, second guy here. -1 become -2. Because I'm adding the two things up. Because both your signals are coming to me, so you add, right? Okay? So this is now the receive signal that I hear. R is the receive signal that I hear. The question is, out of this receive signal, can I pick you up? Okay, right. So I'm going to do the correlation again, cross correlation. So I'm going to do S1 times R. So S1 times R again, what happens now? -1 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 times 0 is also 0. -1 times -2 becomes +2. You see what I'm doing? I'm going chip by chip, okay? And so on. So now if I sum it up, I get 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. I get 10. Previously, I got 11. Now, because of interference, the sum came up to 10, which is still higher than the threshold. And it's positive. That means you send me a logical 1. That's the beauty of CDNA. Okay? So there are two conditions here that I need to make sure this works. You notice in this simple example, everything is synchronized. There's no partial overlapping. Correct? You completely overlap every chip. Secondly is that I need all the users to transmit at a power level such that by the time the signal arrives at my antenna, they are approximately the same power level. Okay? That means I need adaptive power control. The reason for that is this. If someone is blasting his or her signal at a very loud level, it can mask everybody else. Then the whole system breaks down. Okay, so those are the two conditions. The one about synchronization, I forgot to put it inside the notes. But the one about adaptive power control is inside here. Okay. So with this simple scheme, the block diagram shows you a very simple implementation of a CDMA transmitter. You have data coming in on the left, over here. You multiply that data with the code, all right, and the code is generated from a pseudo noise spreading code, pseudo noise generator. Okay, you multiply with the data, So that A is a sequence of logical ones and zeros. You multiply that. So after that, the signal is modulated by the carrier here. Okay, filtered and transmitted. At the receiver, you go through this baseband filter to recover it because it depends on which band you're using. Alright? You have the same pseudo noise generator. This is your template. This is coherent demodulation. Go through this correlator and you get back your data. So that's how it's being done. Alright? So the important thing is this. The codes have to be correctly selected. The codes. The performance of the system depends on the quality of the codes. Okay? And one of the codes that is used is derived from the Walsh-Hadamard transform, which I'll explain in the next slide. Ideally, you want the cross correlation of the codes to be 0. That means they are uncorrelated. All the codes are uncorrelated. So if the codes are uncorrelated, S1 times S2 and you sum it should be 0. If they are uncorrelated. You learn that from statistics and probability. Yeah? If two things are uncorrelated, the cross correlation is 0. You learned that before. Okay? So you can generate such uncorrelated codes. In fact, for Walsh-Hadamard, it's better than uncorrelated. It's orthogonal codes. Okay? So it starts off by iteratively generating a larger and larger matrix. The base matrix is H2, comprising of a 2 by 2 matrix. And you can see that the first row is 1, 1. The second row, the bottom right, is -1. Okay, so we use this repeating pattern. So this is H2. Alright? So to form H4, you repeat H2, H2, H2 minus H2. So if you continue this procedure, H2n is Hn, Hn, Hn minus Hn. Okay, you keep repeating it. So I show here a case of H4. Those are the 4 rows. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1, 1 minus 1 minus 1, and 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. Okay? So each of these rows can be used as a code. And you do a cross correlation between them is 0. Okay? So this is called the Walsh-Hadamard transform. By using this Walsh-Hadamard transform, you can generate the codes depending on how many chips you want for this code. Okay, so it's always a power of 2. Okay? Alright? So in the US and South Korean standard for 2G, their CDMA system, they use the Walsh-Hadamard order of 32. 32. Okay, that is 32 chips inside. Code of 32. Okay, that means theoretically it can support up to 32 channels because one code is one channel. Yeah, one code is one channel. Alright. But out of that 32, they reserve 7 for control and signaling. Alright, control and signaling. And the other 32 minus 7 will be 25. 25. Okay, the other 25 is used for channels. Alright. Okay, let's see how it works. Huh? So I have an example. 3 mobile CDMA users are assigned the following 3 codes. Alright, you can see that. 1001, 001001, then 010101, and then 111, 00110. So 3 codes. They communicate simultaneously with the base station. Calculate the correlator outputs and explain if these codes are suitable. So what I've done is do all the calculation. One way is that, okay, they are all being transmitted at the same time, so this is these 3 rows. And then what the receiver will hear is a combination of those 3, right? R, okay? This plus this plus this. This is what you hear. Now, if I want to decipher or decode code 1, I then will multiply with code 1. That means R multiplied by code 1, I will get this row. So, plus 1 times plus 1 is plus 1. Plus 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1, etc. And if I add it up, I get 8. Good, because this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bit code. Threshold is 5. 8 bigger than 5. Oh, logical 1 transmitted. Okay. If I do it for code 2, same thing. Plus 1 times minus 1 becomes minus 1. Plus 1 times plus 1 is plus 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1, etc. Add it up is 6. Ooh, very close to the threshold. And just decode it logically. What about the third code? Do the same thing. Plus 1 is plus 1. Plus 1 times plus 1 is plus 1. Minus 1 times plus 1 is minus 1, etc. Add it up, 4, below the threshold. This guy didn't transmit. But he did transmit, I got my R. But I couldn't decode it. So these are not very good codes. Okay? Not very good codes. Not decodable. Correlated. Okay, so this is one way to tell whether you have good codes or not. Obtain R and do the cross correlation for each code to see what is the sum. And if any of the sum is less than the threshold, which is usually half, then it's not a very good code. Okay? Another way to do it is to calculate all the cross correlations. And ideally, they should all be 0. Okay? So you can see the calculations there. 1 times 2, 1 times 3, and 2 times 3. So it's a combination of them. Okay? And NP2. Okay? Combinations. Alright, so you see 2 of them have minus 1. That means they are not perfectly uncorrelated. So these are not very good codes. Okay? So typically, good codes, all the correlation sum must go to 0. Moderate codes, up to about 50%. And bad codes, very high values. Doesn't matter about the sign. Okay? Alright, so this is one way to test the codes. If you use the wash element, that what we saw just now, all of them are 0. All the cross correlations are 0. All of them. Okay, and they use the wash element because it's easy to generate the code. Okay. Alright, during the early days, there was a lot of discussion about the capacity of FDMA versus CDMA, etc. Alright, and basically they were really not comparing apples and apples. CDMA claimed to be better because they use these conditions. CDMA said, I'm better because I use this condition. But theoretically, actually, it's the same. Right? Okay? So, one of the things that CDMA has better than the TDMA system is that they have this thing called soft handoff. Okay, what is handoff? Handoff is when a device moves, okay, this is the device, this is antenna A, base station A, this is base station B. I start off here, very strong signal, right? Signal gets weaker and weaker, right? Oh, signal will break. But as I go away here, it gets stronger and stronger here, right? So that means I should hand over or hand off the connection from this base station to this base station. Correct? It's called a handoff. Okay, that happens regularly in your mobile phone system. And it does it seamlessly, you don't even know about it. Okay? When you are on a vehicle, a bus or in a car or whatever, happens seamlessly. You're talking here, you walk, going to the canteen, you pass you from one base station, you don't even notice it. You don't even see the base station for that matter. Okay? So that's called handoff. But there are two ways the handoffs can take place. One is called hard handoff, the other one is called soft handoff. A hard handoff means this. As I move away from here, break and make. That's a hard handoff. And it has obviously got to happen very quickly, right? Otherwise, there will be gaps in your speech. Yeah? Okay? Soft handoff is, I'm going away weaker. I can see the guy already. Let me establish this connection first. When this break, I already got my second connection. That's a soft handoff. So during that brief period, that call, that connection is supported by two base stations. So obviously this is more robust. Okay? But everything has a cost. You're using more resources. Okay? So in terms of quality of service, yes, soft handoff will be better. But in terms of utilization of resources, then obviously hard handoff is better. Okay? So there's no right or wrong. Okay? But that's the way these are being defined. Okay? So there are other issues regarding control and signaling, regarding cost and all that, and that's why I already told you the story that GSM made a head start. The European standard made a head start and captured the global market, and CDMA never really got caught up. All right, and then they learned the lesson in the end. Finally, ITU learned. ITU is the International Telephone Union. Okay, they finally learned telecommunication on that. Finally learned this lesson that next time we go with 3G, we will be harmonized. But it will never happen. Because even for 3G, the Americans have their 3G version, the Japanese have their 3G version, the Europeans, which we follow, have their 3G version, the Chinese have their 3G version. Alright, there are all slight differences there. Okay, same with 4G. So it is almost impossible to have a single standard. It's just variance, there are variance. Same with 5G coming up. Okay? Right. Okay, so that's CDMA. Okay? Any questions up to this one? No? Okay, we go on. Okay, this method is called frequency hopping. Alright, so what the picture shows you is frequency is on the y-axis and time is on the x-axis. So I break it up into all these little blocks. So at the first time instant, I'm using this frequency band. Second time instant, I jump to this band, I hop to this band, then I hop to this band, then I hop to this band, hop, 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 hop. So obviously, between the transmitter and receiver, you need to know your hopping pattern. Huh? Otherwise, you cannot recover. You might miss out something, right? You need to know the hopping pattern. Okay? So another name for this is called direct sequence spread spectrum. Okay? DSSS. DSSS. Direct sequence spread spectrum. Why? We call this name because if you were using FDMA, every user is allocated a certain frequency band, and you only use that band. Now, because you're hopping, you're using many more frequencies. So you are doing spreads. You're spreading the spectrum that you're using. That's where the name comes from. All right, you're spreading it. Because your radio equipment has to be able to listen to all these bands, not just one band. Yeah? Right. So this is just to illustrate the system. So we have your original signal. You have a certain hopping pattern and spreading it out. So now you're using a lot of frequencies. And the receiver, you have the same hopping pattern and you recover back your original message. Okay, that's what it's showing you. Okay. Right. Next one is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. Now we all learn about Fourier, right? Remember Fourier? Your friend Fourier? Fourier transform, Fourier series and all that. Okay? So what we also learn from Fourier is that when you have a particular frequency, and that frequency has a certain harmonic, Alright, so let's say you talk about frequency at 2 gigahertz. Alright, and it uses a certain band. Alright, and then you take a frequency at 4 gigahertz, which is a multiple of 2 gigahertz. If you multiply these two together and integrate it, what's the cross correlation? 0, because the signals are orthogonal. Even though both of them are being transmitted at the same time. So OFDM makes use of this principle. You can transmit multiple signals that are orthogonal to each other and they will not interfere with each other. Okay, that's the principle. So that's what you're seeing there. Okay, one signal and another signal, you integrate, you're doing cross correlation. So if they're orthogonal, alright, then no problem, you will get a 0. If it's the same signal, of course, you get 1 here in this case. Alright? So that's what we're trying to show. So now if you have a spectrum of multiple signals that are orthogonal to one another, you can transmit them simultaneously and they will not interfere because their cross correlation is 0. Okay? Alright? So if you do that, then this is typically what happens. Normally you do that using the inverse discrete Fourier transform. This is the inverse discrete Fourier transform. This is data coming in and going into different streams at lower rate. You do the inverse Fourier transform. Now you have an OFDM signal. The guard interval is to make sure that the adjacent transmissions do not leak over to the others. Okay? And then you trend the signal. At the receiver, you remove the guard interval. You do the opposite of this guy and get back this and different streams, recombine them and get back your data. So that's a very simple OFDM system. Okay, so you're using orthogonality to transmit multiple streams at the same time. Okay, and that's the basis of our third generation system. Okay, 3G. The last one here is space division multiple. So now you use sectorization. So you have beam forming. If you're here, I use this beam. You are here, I use this beam. So I can actually service, the base station can service multiple users in different beams. Then the question is, how narrow can I make a beam? All right. So there will be practical limits to that. So that's the concept of space division multiple access. All right, we will come back to this method later in a different technology, in one of the technologies, okay? So, imagine in different users, you direct the beams to different users. This is very expensive technology because you have blue beam forming. And blue beam forming means you need an antenna array. Okay, at least at the base station, This guy here don't need an antenna here, but this guy here needs an antenna. So here's a summary of some of these early multiple access techniques: FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, and SDMA. All right, and talking about concept of this, the terminals, the signal separation. So I won't go into details. You can read for your own pleasure. Okay. Any questions up to this point?
SDMA is not used on your mobile phone system. SDMA.
FDMA. No, very old technology. Your analog chorus code uses it. Not the digital chorus code.
Correspond.
Yeah. But most of us don't even have chorus code nowadays. How many of you still use wired phones at home? Not so many, right? now the provider give you free. Even all of us use our handphone, right? In the old days, yeah, you use your chorus code, right? And then you get a wiring to different rooms, you can call this room, call that room. No, you know, I just call your mobile number. Your mobile number is always with you, in the toilet also with you. Huh? Right? Because people's behavior has changed. So the question, how long can you be away from your mobile phone before you get nervous attack? I think most people cannot survive more than a week.
6 hours.
6 hours.
Hours in the unit of hours.
Yeah, because it's so part of our lives, mobile phone. Right? Okay, this method is called polling. So you have a central controller, you have data coming in at a certain rate. Lambda is the rate of arrival of data. Okay? And so the central controller will decide who is going to transmit next. So there's going to be a certain sequence. Okay? So that's polling. And then you repeat the polling sequence. You can have priority in polling because you can give a particular user more opportunities to spend. Alright? Okay? So all these different variations is possible. Okay, so these are all the very basic ones. Basic ones. Polling is a very old technology. We don't really use it now. Okay? And this is before your generation. You probably have not seen this before. You know, nowadays when we travel, we go online to book our airline tickets, we go online to book our hotel, etc. Right? I mean, it's very common. In the old days, you can't do that. You want to travel, you go to a travel agent. Travel agent will book for you. So you sit down on the table, travel agent has this computer with a green screen. So you log into the system. Which day you want to travel? Okay, this day, let's check whether got tickets or not. Then he give you a printout. You better not miss a printout, otherwise you cannot board anymore. That was the old days. So those printouts and all that on the computer screen are all connected to some central system. Alright, and the protocol to talk to all these terminals, these are all dumb terminals, was using polling. Okay, using polling. This was before the days of GUI, graphical user interface. Okay, I'm going to talk about the wireless now. Most of this has been very old, as I said. So this is also the granddaddy of wireless protocol, multiple access. It's called Aloha. So from the name you can guess, it was a protocol that was invented in the University of Hawaii. The motivation behind this was that the Hawaiian Islands, the University of Hawaii had several campuses in different islands. And they wanted to invent a system that would allow the different campuses to talk to each other. Alright? I don't know how many islands there are, but Honolulu, you all know where it's Honolulu, right? You've heard of Honolulu, right? No? Honolulu is the main city in Hawaii. Okay? It's on the island of Oahu. Okay? An island of Oahu. If you see the TV series like Hawaii 5-0, TV series now, there's a new one called Magnum PI, come back again. Alright, you see Waikiki Beach and Diamond Head. Right? Huh? Have you seen those pictures? Waikiki and Diamond Head, the beachfront and all that. I actually climbed up Diamond Head. It's a nice big crater there. Okay. So they wanted to talk to these different islands, and the only way we can do it, because the islands is not near, you know, the one furthest north to the one furthest south is about 1,000 kilometers. About 1,000 kilometers. Okay? So you satellite technology, okay, and it's a very simple protocol. So this is what happens. You're transmitting from a station A to a station B. You send the signal up to the satellite. The satellite regenerates and sends back the data back here. Okay? Alright, regenerates and sends it. So it is a relay. So if it takes you a time of a delay of TXM to go this way, T propagation time to go from here to here. TTXN is the amount of time to clock out your data. Suppose you have 1,000 bits you want to send and you're sending it at 1 kilobits per second. Then you take 1 second, that's TTXN. Okay? That's the rate you clock it up. T-prop is the propagation time from the Earth station to the satellite. So you can go two-way, right? T-prop, one way, T-prop, one way. Assuming 0 time at the satellite. Okay? So the whole cycle of sending from Earth station A to Earth station B is TTXN plus 2 T-prop. You send the data. The receiving side has to send back an acknowledgement to you. Otherwise, you do not know whether you receive it, right? Correct? Huh? I send you something, I'm waiting for the acknowledgement. So the acknowledgement will also take TXM, but of course shorter a bit because usually acknowledgement packet is shorter, plus 2 T-prop to come back. If I don't hear the acknowledgement after a certain timeout period, I will assume that I was not successful. Okay? You may not be successful based on 2 reasons. One is somehow the signal got lost. Second reason is that you are not the only guy sending. Somebody else was also sending, so collision of the packet. Okay? 2 reasons. The more likely scenario is that collision has occurred. Station A, station B, station C, in island A, island B, island C. You want to talk to this guy. Both of you wanted to send down to him. Bang. Collision of the packet. Okay? Alright? So what will happen in collision? Once a collision occurs, you back off, That means you sleep for a random time. You wake up and you try again. Hopefully, when you wake up, she is still asleep. Or you wake up first, he is still asleep. Then the next time you send, no collision. Okay? So that's how it works. Alright? So that means that is a contention window. Alright? So this row here is to tell you the entire cycle. This is the time to send the request. This is the response time at the receiver side. This is the time to send the acknowledgement. So altogether, this is the total time it takes to complete this conversation. Okay? Alright. So there is a contention time. So long as 2 packets overlap, then nobody is successful. Okay, and the contention time in this case, usually T-prop is much longer than TTXN. Usually. Because why? The satellite is way up there in a geosynchronous position, so it's pretty far up. Okay, in geosynchronous, that means it's circling the Earth at a speed such that it appears stationary on top. And that's something like, I think, 20,000 kilometers or something like that. Alright, so the delay is actually quite significant. Okay, the delay is of the order of, I think, about 500 milliseconds, about half a second. The order. Okay? Right. So that's the 42, not even 30, 20. 42,000 kilometers from the center of the Earth, or an altitude of 35,000 kilometers. Your plane only travels at 10 kilometers above the Earth. 9 to 10 kilometers. Right? 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet, that's the plane. Okay, so this is way up there. Okay. Right. So the protocol is down here. We explained. You got packet ready to send? Yes, send it. Wait for 2-way propagation delay. Do I get my acknowledgement? No. Back off. Delay for so long. Try again. If yes, then of course you can send another time. Very simple protocol. Okay. So the system works well if you don't have a lot of data to transmit. Okay? In the old days, it's okay. Alright? But once everybody has a lot of things to transmit, you have a problem. Huh? Okay? So, let's look at the maths behind this. What's the probability that you are the only one who is transmitting. That's the probability of success. Probability of success, right? P naught is when you are the only one who is transmitting. So in other words, there are no arrivals for this interval of time. E to the minus t 2 ttm times lambda. Okay, so this is based on a Poisson distribution, which is a negative exponential distribution. Okay, Poisson. Okay, where lambda is the arrival rate. X number, lambda packets per second. Right. So the rate at which packets are successfully transmitted will be lambda times P naught, because P naught is the probability of success. Okay, P naught. So that's the rate of successful transmission. So what's the maximum we can do? Simple. Differentiate, set to 0, find your maximum value of lambda max. Okay? Differentiate with respect to lambda, set to 0, therefore I can find lambda max, and it turns out it's 1 over 2 TSM. I found lambda max, I can also find the maximum rate at which I can send successfully all the packets, which is this guy, 1 over 2 TSM times E. Alright? So, I can also find how much traffic that you offer to the system, because you're offering, okay, you need to know this formula down here. Traffic intensity is equal to average request rate times service holding time, and it is expressed as length. Okay, average request rate will be average arrival of packet. Average the service holding time is the amount of time it takes to service that request. Okay, so if you apply that, the traffic offered A is the arrival maximum lambda max, which is this request rate, and the service time is TTXM. Okay, that's the maximum traffic that is offered to the system. But the traffic carry is S max. That is the successful one. And the time to service is TTXM. Alright, you multiply those two together, you get 1 over 2E, which is 0.18 length. Okay, 0.1. In this course, I'm not going to teach you about queuing theory. As I said, this is not meant to be an academic, very academic course. But it is good if you have some exposure to queuing theory. But we won't have time to do that. Okay? Alright? Because queuing theory is very useful in predicting the performance of networks. Okay? And many other things. I used to do this queuing theory thing in the year 3 course. Not master level. So, if you know queuing theory, okay, I always do this example. It's a funny example, a couple of examples. So you saw the traffic intensity is the arrival rate times the service time. Okay, so I'll give an example. There are 5 people who live in this house. There's only 1 bathroom. Every morning, all 5 of them have to go bathroom. Average time they spend in the bathroom is 10 minutes. Okay, average arrival rate during that busy hour is 5. On the average, what's the probability that you will get to the bathroom? That's queuing theory. Right? That's queuing theory. You got arrival rate, you got service time, therefore you can calculate the probability of success. Correct? Okay, I gave them another symbol. You have the supermarket queue. 1 counter, 1 queue. 1 counter, 1 queue. 1 counter, 1 queue. Okay? You have the bank queue. You go to most banks, 1 queue but multiple counters. Whichever is free, you go there. Right? Okay? Which one on the average you wait longer? Theory solves the problem. You can guess, supermarket queue not so efficient. Alright, supermarket queue. So queuing theory helps you to understand some of this. But unfortunately we have no time. Alright? So what we see here is that the traffic actually carried. So you present half an length of traffic, but the actual successful traffic It's only 0.1 at length. The maximum traffic is 1 length. That means this particular channel is busy all the time and successfully carrying things. The maximum is 1. So you're only at an efficiency of 18%, you know. Because you can only carry up to 1.184 length, 18% efficiency. Okay. Now if you plot that curve of carried traffic, you will get this line. Here. We call it pure aloha. So at offered traffic of 0.5, your success is 0.184. Very low efficiency. And what happens is that if you keep pumping more traffic, the thing will die down. Why? Because there are more collisions and more collisions until the whole thing breaks down, becomes unstable. You're just fighting each other, that's all. Alright, so nobody gets through. Okay? So this was the early generation pure aloha. So they managed to improve it by using what is called slotted aloha. Okay? Now, before I go to slotted aloha, I just want to mention the system was presented with 0.5 lane of traffic, but only 0.18 was carried. That means the difference is the collision traffic. You try, you know, try, you know, try, you know, got it? The difference. 0.5 minus the 0.18. The 0.316 is all collision traffic. Retry traffic. Because you were not successful. Got it? Huh? Now, for slotted aloha, it's slightly different. So what I do now is this. The channel is slotted in time. If you got something to transmit, you wait until the beginning of the next slot, and you